And to New York City now, where we're hearing from the government's final witness today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. The prosecution is expected to rest their case by the end of the week. So let's go to CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman. She's live outside the New York City courthouse. Katrina, thank you for being with us today. What have we heard so far today?
We are hearing from the prosecution's final witness. This is a special agent, and what he's been doing is going through these extensive charts. And I will say it's some of the drier testimony that we've heard in this courtroom, but it is important because we're seeing an alignment of all of these coordinating of plans. For example, these are all related to Jane. That was one of the alleged victims who testified in this case under a pseudonym. There's so much back and forth between Sean Combs and, in particular, Christina Kaufman. She's his former chief of staff, previously a former assistant, and the prosecutors have made it clear that they view her as a co-conspirator in this trial. So we're hearing audio messages. We're seeing communications between them, also with the woman who coordinated his travel, Jessica Ruiz, with security. They're going and getting thousands of dollars out of the safe for Sean Combs. And all of this is bringing together these racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking allegations, how these women and then also escorts or entertainers were being transited to different places where Combs was, how he was communicating with people who worked for him, and they were helping to facilitate this. There was also a telling message, I thought, from Christina Kaufman, where I guess there was one night where they left in the middle of the night, and she wrote to him, "You can't just take an Uber in the middle of the night. That's when bad things can happen. And if something were to happen, you would be," and she uses a swear word there. But it shows some knowledge that what was happening in these rooms wasn't, something that people should know about, that he needs to be protected. That's why they had assistants coming and cleaning up after him when these things occurred. So the prosecution is closing their case. They say that they should be done by tomorrow morning, and then it will be up to the defense to briefly put on their case. They've made it sound like all they're going to do is read in some evidence to the trial, so perhaps that shows that they may be feeling confident here.
And so if the defense is basically, this might not take too long for them, we know the timeline of when this case will actually get to the hands of the jury.
So they have decided that we're having closing arguments on Thursday. So I guess that will depend whether they finish those Thursday, whether they go into Friday. But I think it is safe to say that the jury will have this case by the end of this week.
All right, and we shall wait and see what happens when it's all set down. Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much for your reporting.